Christopher Columbus was an Italian explorer who is best known for his voyages across the Atlantic Ocean, which opened up the New World to European exploration and colonization. Columbus was born in Genoa, Italy in 1451, and began his career as a sailor at a young age. In 1492, Columbus set sail on his first voyage with 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, with the aim of finding a western sea route to Asia. Instead, he landed in the Bahamas, which he named San Salvador, and went on to explore other Caribbean islands and parts of Central and South America. Columbus made a total of 4 voyages to the Americas, and his expeditions marked the beginning of European colonization of the New World. However, his treatment of the indigenous peoples he encountered has been criticized as exploitative and brutal, and his legacy is a controversial one. Today, Columbus is celebrated as a hero by some, while others view him as a symbol of colonialism and imperialism. In recent years, there have been calls to reconsider the way Columbus is remembered and celebrated, and to acknowledge the devastating impact of European colonization on indigenous peoples. Here are some fun facts about Christopher Columbus. 1. Despite popular belief, Columbus did not set out to prove that the Earth was round. Most educated people of the time already knew that the Earth was a sphere. 2. Columbus's first name in Italian was Cristoforo, which means Christ-bearer. 3. Columbus made a total of 4 voyages to the Americas, but he never actually set foot on mainland North America. 4. Columbus's ships on his first voyage, the Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria, were not the largest or most well-equipped ships of their time. In fact, they were considered small and unimpressive. 5. Columbus was a skilled navigator and used the position of the stars to guide his ships. He was also one of the first Europeans to use the compass for navigation. 6. Columbus's first voyage to the Americas was funded by King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella of Spain, who believed that Columbus could help expand their empire and spread Christianity. 7. Columbus brought several exotic animals with him on his voyages, including parrots, monkeys, and even a few alligators. 8. Columbus died in 1506 without realizing the full extent of the lands he had discovered. He believed until his death that he had landed in Asia, not a new continent. 9. Columbus's voyages helped to introduce new foods and plants to Europe, including tomatoes, potatoes, and corn. 10. Columbus was a skilled linguist and spoke several languages, including Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, and Latin. The legacy of Christopher Columbus is a controversial and complex one, and there are many dark aspects of his history that are often overlooked in traditional accounts of his life. Some of the most notable include: 1. Treatment of indigenous peoples. Columbus is often celebrated for discovering the New World, but in reality, he and his men were responsible for the violent subjugation, enslavement, and genocide of millions of indigenous peoples in the Americas. Columbus himself engaged in acts of extreme violence against native peoples, including cutting off the hands of those who refused to work in the gold mines. 2. Introduction of slavery. Columbus is also responsible for introducing the transatlantic slave trade to the Americas. On his second voyage, he brought enslaved indigenous people back to Spain to be sold as slaves. Later, he would also bring enslaved Africans to the Americas to work on plantations. 3. Greed and exploitation. Columbus's motivations for exploring the Americas were largely driven by a desire for wealth and power. He sought to exploit the land and resources of the New World, and his expeditions were often marked by violence, greed, and cruelty. 4. Legacy of colonialism. Columbus's voyages marked the beginning of European colonialism in the Americas, which would have devastating consequences for indigenous peoples. The legacy of colonization, which included forced displacement, cultural genocide, and the loss of land and resources, continues to impact indigenous communities to this day. It's important to remember that while Columbus is often celebrated as a hero, his legacy is a complex and troubling one that deserves critical examination and re-evaluation.